we've had problems. You know, he ran a good race against us and everything. It's just that we don't have our act together is basically what it amounts to. Something went wrong, and we've been searching for it for the last couple of months, and we just haven't been doing good. We've tried in different combinations and trying to get out of that slump, but it's one of those things.
Minutes before going into the semifinals, Shirley Muldowney is relaxing in her truck. Shirley, are you really relaxing, or are you psyching the opposition?
Little of both, but I'm just trying to stay away. The people are very interested, and they've always been great fans, but I'm just trying to have a few minutes for myself. I don't want to make any mistakes, Chris.
Rob, your competition says that he feels you should be favored to win today. Do you think he believes that, or is that some psychology, perhaps?
Well, he probably believes it on the count that we just ran a 585 compared to he ran a 602 his last run, so we would be favored on that account, and the fact that we've shown the consistency that this is the fourth national event in a row we've been in the finals.
David, boy, that is hot. That is a jet aircraft engine being used to help dry out this soggy quarter mile. After 3 beautiful warm days of record-breaking qualifying, an inch of rain fell last night and just soaked this quarter mile. Think the track's going to come around, or you're going to have to adapt to it?
I think we're going to have to adapt. It's a little tricky. I was thinking it's a little better, but we hopped her up a little bit, and she wouldn't take it. So I guess we're going to take a little more back out of it.
know what the national record is?
It is 8:49 as far as I know.
Well, it's not now. It's 8:48. That's what you just run, a brand new NHRA national record for Pro Stock.
That's great. We've been having a lot of trouble here getting hooked up to the track, and that's really great.
Now I can give you some good news. Your elapsed time is quicker than Bill Pryor, so you'll have lane choice. Do you think that's important at this point?
I assume that it is, because we really smoked the tires that time. I drove about 3 miles on that run, so I don't know what we have to do, but we'll make our decision when we get up there. We'll watch funny cars very closely.
With a big number 1 on his window signifying a world championship last year, Bob Glidden proves that, yes, indeed, the rest of the Pro Stockers were right. They were racing for second place. Ronnie Sox took a gamble on the line. It was his only alternative. He red lights, and here comes Bob Glidden. You've got them shaking their heads constantly. He waves to Ronnie Sox as he goes by. Ronnie gives him a big grin and away back. When it's your day, it's your day. I guess that's the story. Gordy Bonham, you had a tremendous hole shot. You won with a slower elapsed time.
Oh, darn, huh?
Your crew chief, Jerry Verhill, can no longer accuse you of being late, right? You just gave it all back. How's it feel?
Oh, boy, well, it wasn't really my day. I guess it turned out to be my day, but God, I mean, we've done everything wrong, like I told you, and it's still working.
Fire, the most frightening word a funny car driver can hear. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
It appears that most of the damage is on this side of the car. Maybe you could tell us what happened.
I don't know, coming in right at about the first light, the thing just lay down, and right when I clicked it off, and I was lucky I just had gone for the chute because it didn't last very long.
Did you feel any heat in the cockpit?
Oh, it was a hot fire. It got in. I don't know why it got in. So we have it pretty well protected, and it got in pretty good.
It looked easy.
It was easy. My fellows do such a good job. They make it easy for me. They make me look good. It did an extra long burnout, and I came off the starting line with a rather low lead, give the car a chance to do its thing, and it got out there. We put the biggest tire Goodyear makes on it. It shook a little bit, top end of low gear, 100 pounds oil pressure in the lights. I knew it was going fast, and I knew it went quick.
The nemesis of all outdoor drag racing events, and that, of course, is rain. The rains came early in the morning, slacked off towards midday, and the NHRA crew went to work, almost had the racetrack dry, but the rains started once again, the crowd patiently waiting in anticipation of a great race, as is evidenced by that fine 5.98-second elapsed time in qualifying by Shirley Muldowney. But the wait was to no avail. The race had to be postponed.
Well, Dave, certainly it's going to be two of the most beautiful funny cars in all the world in the final round here at the Cajun Nationals. Kenny Bernstein's Chelsea King out of Texas and from California. In his rookie year on the Pro Tour, he's been drag racing on the West Coast for a number of years, but the first time with a really quality operation is John Forrest. And I'll tell you what, when he gets the helmet off, it'll probably be full of adrenaline. These guys have worked hard. John Forrest, did you think it was possible? The final round of national event.
Can I say, the Lord's with me here. I'm digging that. She, I guess, brakes didn't fall with Raymond there, and they fell with me, and I'm going to put Wendy's right in the winner's circle on this next run because she ran good, and she shook just a shade, but she was making it. She's ready to run.
Okay, you didn't get lane choice, so Bernstein ran a little quicker. Is that a factor, do you think?
It could be a factor, but I think when the Lord's rolling with you, it's rolling. I'm going in that final round.
On a hot roll, John Forrest. Dave, absolutely one of the most beautiful cars in all of drag racing in any category, finds the winner's circle here at the Cajun Nationals. Its owner, its driver, a businessman racer, Kenny Bernstein, making his first visit to glory NHRA style. Many, many years ago, he raced as far as runner-up, retired from racing to become a very, very successful restaurant and bar owner throughout the Southwest. Congratulations, Kenny Bernstein.
Just great. Just super.
Were you a little sick there for a moment when Forrest was out in front of you?
Well, yeah, you know, the car left pretty good, and then it seemed to get the tires loose again, and I was wondering for a second we were going to get back around him, but then she took off, and I don't know what happened to him, but we're here, and that's what counts.
Well, congratulations to you. You've brought a lot of class to this sport. Not only your race car, but your transporter. Everything you do seems to have that touch of class and polish.
Well, that's a super compliment, Steve, from you and anybody else, and I really appreciate that. We like to do it that way. We think that the sport deserves it, and we think, just like I did 5 years ago when I quit, if I couldn't go back into it first class and really do it the right way, I just wouldn't do it, and I appreciate the compliment because it makes me feel great.
No man has ever done it before. I doubt any will ever do it again. Your 9th straight NHRA national event.
That's great, Steve.
It appears that if anybody's going to beat Bob Glidden, it'll have to be you. You'll have to make a mistake.
Well, this race was really close. I don't know what the numbers were on the final, but
8:59.
What was Shepard?
I don't know. 148.49 you ran.
Yes, but in the semis he went within 400ths of us. So you know, this was a close race.
And just recently they added weight to this car. NHRA did, took some weight off the other cars, and you're still in the winner's circle. I know you were frustrated by that, but it must feel good now.
It always feels good to win, but it feels good to win.
Brown bailing out of the over-the-hill gang car, Dave. Talk about a happy guy. He's got the hot hand just like he did last year. He won the Gator Nationals, as you know, the last stop on this Winston NHRA trail. Now the Cajun Nationals. Son, whatever you did to this car, you said you needed a 10th, you got it. A track record 5:92.
Well, as I told you before, the Overhill gang, Bill Schultz, had it like a Swiss watch all day. We made the necessary things that we needed to do to the car. They worked. The car felt fantastic. This is, you know, it doesn't mean much to spectators, but it's the 15th consecutive run without the heads off it, and it's the greatest thing in the world, and I'm extremely pleased.
You nailed her on the Christmas tree.
Well, I had to do it. She had a 10th on me, and Bill told me he'll give me a 10th, but I have to give him a half a 10th, so that's exactly what happened. I don't have any answer for it except the guys had the car prepared perfectly, and it was all my problem on my shoulders, and I'll just have to make it up again.
Don, it's been kind of a tough week, but you got this far. How do you feel about it?
Well, you know, I'm just lucky to get this far. We've really been struggling, and, you know, what can I say? Sagrini run good, and the show's over.
Now, Cornelius, or rather Shannon, here in the tower lane, did not have to make a flip pass. He's the number 1 qualifier already. I think all they really wanted to do was to check the track.
Well, we had a bearing hurt that last round, and we sanded it, and we knew we was going to have to change it this round, so I guess he went ahead and let the rod go. We thought it'd be good for one more round. We had to wait up there a little extra, waiting on rolling.
How come the engine wouldn't shut off down here?
Evidently, the fuel shut off must have slipped off the cable or something. They switched cables, so evidently it must have slipped off.
The 6:49 wasn't the quickest run that was made here this weekend, but it was good enough to win. What kind of trouble did you encounter out there?
Well, towards the afternoon, of course, like we said before, the heat of the day makes the track get somewhat slippery, and it makes it hard to make horsepower. And the track just gets awful tricky. We smoked the tires twice.
It's good enough to get to the finish line first. I guess that's what counts. Congratulations, Gary.
Thank you, Carl.
.611 at 237 miles an hour. Looks like the spare engine worked just fine, Don.
Yeah, it shook me a little bit. That's where it lost some of the time, but it run good in the middle of the course.
I know you've won an awful lot of these races. Is it just as good every time?
Yeah, and this is especially good because, I've had a lot of bad luck here at Columbus. I've never won a race here, and it's really a thrill to do good here because I have so many fans in this part of the country, and they've always cheered for me, and I've always let them down, so maybe finally I came through once.
Days, it's hot and it's humid, but nobody seems to care. Thousands of people roaming the pits here, watching the racers make final preparation for eliminations. The track conditions couldn't be any better. You fouled at the Spring Nationals, the last event. Did that have anything to do with maybe you were a little more conservative?
Probably back in your mind somewhere that could be a contribution to that, but I don't think so. I practiced on the lights out here in qualifying and was right on, so I don't know what happened there, but it's something that's unfortunate, and I feel bad about it, but we have to go on,
You must be pleased with the new mount, though. It's tough debuting a new car in the middle of the season.
Right. Well, I'm real happy with it. We just got a few things to work out to the way I drive, because I drive the car a little different, and so the clutch, we're just not on the clutch yet.
Very discouraged, Don Perdome, Dave. Down here, really appeared to have a handle on it. Snake qualified low at 6:09. What happened?
It got through the middle of the track and it wanted to drop a cylinder, and then it picked it up again. It was too late. He got out ahead of me there, and it was over.
Who would you pick of those that remain?
I don't know. I don't know.
What did a whip there like I couldn't believe.
Raymond Beadle and Dale Poley kidding each other down here. That was one of the best funny car runs in years.
Yeah, we left together. I looked over and I missed Dale for a minute, and I run it through the back because I knew Dale would run 240 or better on me. But he didn't pass me. That was good.
May have been low ET at the event, if not very close.
Okay, thank you. We're going to try anyway.
This is going to help a lot in the world point standings.
Yeah, we're looking good now. Snake got knocked out first round, and a little luck's all we need.
A new face, Dave, on the major event trail, Bruce Hagstead. That was the closest race of the day, I do believe.
Oh, man, I could see his wheels all the way down. I didn't think it was ever going to come around there.
It must be a unique experience having to face the man who occupied this cockpit for so many seasons.
Oh, Johnny and I have been friends for a long time. We wished each other good luck, and it just turned out this way. He's a great guy.
And Johnny didn't even know he'd lost. It must have been very, very close.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, the wheels were just, right next to each other, and our car finally pulled ahead a little bit more there.
Your impression of the track conditions right now?
It's a little shake out there, just a taste, not bad, especially in this lane. The other lane is the smoothest.
Is it going to take any more horsepower?
I don't know. It's hard to say. We need more. The Settles is running awful good,
On a single run, you could take it easy and save your parts and pieces. You elected not to.
Well, there's a couple of ways of looking at that. One, of course, is saving your equipment, but another is the all-important lane choice at times.
I hate to be the one to tell you this, but Garlitz is going to have lane choice by 100th of a second.
Is that right? Well, one day chicken, next day feathers,
Don Garlitz checking out a flat front wheel. Boy, you were in it all the way, though.
Yeah, it threw it off in the running the lights.
This has to go down as one of the hardest fought top fuel fields in a long time.
Pretty tough, there's no doubt about it. Been good, hard runs, all of them side by side.
Raymond Beadle looking back at the starting line as his top fuel car is preparing to race. But Beadle, congratulations, 20-car champion.
Steve, thank you. Hold on. We smoked the tires there, and I thought for a minute we'd messed up, but we did okay. I told him money held out, luck had come.
And even after you changed the motors, you still had some problems in the pit.
Well, we started up, and we had a brand new manifold on it, and it was cracked, so we had to change it. So I guess when it's your day, it's your day.
And the motor change is no longer a jinx.
I hope not. I hope not.
Okay, let's watch as the Blue Max meets Jeb Allen. You may have had 98 in the tank, 98% nitrogen, but you didn't really need it. Something happening to Davey Settle.
No, well, you know, when it's your day, it's your day. We've run the race all weekend. We've made the car run good. We've picked our racer we had to race with. We went up against him with what we were doing, just played it safe, you know. And you get a break when you win a race, and that was our break right there.
This silver anniversary of U.S. Nationals marks a lot of milestones for the National Hot Rod Association and its president, founder, Wally Parks. And Wally, it truly is the cornerstone of NHRA championship drag racing, the Nationals.
Well, it is. This event is the one that was the basis for the whole operation. It was the first of the truly national championship runoffs. And after 25 years, I think everybody involved in the sport, whether they're a contestant or a manufacturer or media or fan, wants to be a part of the silver anniversary. I think that we're going to find more important and exciting things coming out of this race than any of them we've ever staged, and we're looking forward to the next 25.
Big Daddy Don Garlits went back in history and brought back the Swamp Rat 1, the carbureted, nitro-burning Chrysler engine dragster with 37 Chevrolet frame rails, making up the construction of this car. Over 20 years old, restored in 2 years' time by Garlits, now on the starting line. The flagman starter, Bob Beezer, a Canadian Indian, originally one of the starting line crew at the early U.S. Nationals, and Garlits smokes the tires off the starting line, doesn't lift a bit, comes into the center of his lane and drives the car through at 165 miles an hour.
Even with 32 cars in the field, it seemed that almost the entire crowd was pulling for Big Daddy. What happened?
Well, we had a little tire shake, Steve, and I had to get out of it. And in just that brief moment, Larry moved ahead, and I couldn't make it up. He ran decent. He ran a 5.99, and we could only muster a 6.14 after we left it. It just been plaguing me all weekend. It would make a run, wouldn't shake, and make one it would. It's just one of those things that's hard to put your finger on.
Kelly Brown, a tremendous 590. And Kelly, on paper, Tharp was the toughest driver you had to face.
They're all pretty tough. This is a 20.
Perhaps time-wise.
Well, that's correct, yeah. We didn't think about that so much. All we're thinking about is keeping this old bullet alive, and it's working real well to this point. This race is just incredible to everybody. You can feel the energy everywhere, you know, and everybody, win, lose, whatever, it seems that they're just so happy to be here, you know, and I want more than nothing in the world to be the last one here, you know what I mean?
Kelly Brown. You know, most people, when they race Don Prudhomme, have a defeatist attitude. Ron Colson predicted earlier, he says, I'll get him, I'll beat him. He was that confident that one way or another, he'd get here before the snake, and sure enough, and you've done it more than once this year.
Yeah, this is the most difficult one, though, Steve. I left, overpowered the tires, they came loose, I thought I'm dead, but I thought I'm not going to give up till we get to the finish line. I backpedaled, got some degree of control, and we're here.
He got sideways.
Well, I was just about sideways. The only thing this hurts is for lane choice next round, but the cars run well in both lanes, so I think we're still ready for it.
Kosti Ivanov going berserk down here, Dave. The race was so close that apparently he wasn't sure if he'd won or not. And Kosti, let him get his mask off here. You did it all on driving because he ran quicker.
Thank you. What do we run? Anybody here?
You ran 620, he ran 617.
Well, I said I was going to do a whole shot on somebody, and I did it. And I'm glad it was against Beetle.
Gordie Bonin, besides the wind light, you're now officially the world's fastest funny car driver.
Boy, I love it. Haven't run 247 like the snake, but sure says I'm going to try this weekend.
Well, that's a backed-up national record of 2:45.90, but the elapsed time, 6:04. The snake's gone, the max is gone. You've got a real shot at this.
Been a long time since 72 in the final here, huh?
Jack in the Box, Gordie Bonin, coming out of the hatch of this trans-am-bodied funny car. One of the turnaround guys giving him a big cold glass of water. You've done it, son. You're in the finals for the second time in your career. It was back in, what, 72?
That's it, 72 here against McCullough.
You were just a rookie then.
Still am, aren't I? Yeah, I'm only 19.
Sure. But you've got a new national speed record. But let's talk about Kosti Ivanov. You seem to have a performance edge over him, but if you smoke the tires, your history.
That's right. We've had the clutch set at this racetrack like we'd run Woodburn or someplace with no traction at all. I don't know why, but it's working. I mean, we got a very soft clutch.
Track changing a lot?
No, not really. Maybe for the guys with the, wide pack and all the horsepower, but we'll be okay.
Down here at the Kosti Ivanov pits, it's anything but routine. Don Prudhomme just yelled, who owns this car? There's not a Kosti's crew around. The Blue Max crew, Prudhomme's crew, all thrashing on the Hemi engine. As you can see, it's totally apart. All of these guys belong to other crews. Ivanov is in the trailer trying to piecemeal some pistons and rings together. They just don't have the kind of spare parts. They're not used to national event competition, especially final round pressure. So it is really bedlam here, and very funny, too, I might add. A lot of good one-liners. Lombardo pushed the lights a little too hard that time and came up with a red one. Congratulations. The Indiana fans loved it.
Thank you very much. This was a hard win for us. This has been really a tough week. We've had 3 engines in the car on and off and engines apart. All these guys really made it tough out here. All the pro cars were close.
Thank you, Bob. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The Pro Stock title stays in Indiana. Even on you'll take it any way you can get it, right?
I'm telling you, I don't know what we did or what he did, but I'm kind of glad he did because we had some tire shake out there. We were scared of it all day.
Well, it's not like you backed into this. When you qualified number 2, set a new national speed record, everything but a lapse time, which went with Prudhomme.
Well, he's the snake, you know. We got to sneak up on him.
Kelly Brown leaves the starting line wheels in the air en route to his first U.S. Nationals title. It's a dream come true, isn't it? Congratulations.
Dream come true, and it, I'll tell you, it's, as they said, it's the greatest drag race of all time, and I couldn't be happier with our team and everyone involved, from Valvoline to Goodyear to down to everybody, and it was just an excellent, excellent weekend for us with all the problems we had, and this is the greatest drag race in my entire life.
It's sometimes sweeter when you work that hard for him, huh? Bill Schultz horsepower did that.
Bill Schultz horsepower, as did most of our races this year, and a tremendous crew behind him from Gary Reed on down. Every one of those guys is absolutely the best, and I love them all, I'll tell you.
Well, congratulations to you. That's 4 national wins this year.
Right? 4 this year, 4 last year, and we're sneaking up on Garless. He's got 23 years on us.
Kelly Brown, who could be the first man to ever repeat as Top Fuel World Champion. Dave, this Winston World Final signifies the end of a tough but exciting NHRA season of championship drag racing. To the racers, it means they finally know what their share of $175,000 in bonus cash will be, plus $250,000 event purse. The Top Fuel World Championship battle ended here in the staging lanes yesterday in dramatic fashion when Kelly Brown simply ran out of time.
That's right, Steve. The last few weeks have not been good for Kelly Brown, the defending world champion. Kelly and the over-the-hill gang had to completely rebuild their car after an exploding clutch in the finals of the Fall Nationals severely damaged the dragster. In his previous qualifying attempts here at Ontario, Kelly fell short of the mark, and with time running out yesterday, the crew was hard at work trying to find the horsepower and traction combination that would qualify for the 16-car field. Kelly came into the World Finals just 506 points behind the leader, Rob Bruins, and he had to qualify to continue his quest to become the first person ever to repeat as world champion. This has been a great season for Kelly, winning the Gator Nationals, the Cajun Nationals, the Mile High Nationals, and the 25th Annual U.S. Nationals. But this was not his weekend, as Kelly and the car were both ready for a final attempt when time ran out and qualifying ended. A tough way to end the year for Kelly Brown, the 1978 world champion, who now passes the crown and title to Rob Bruins.
Dave, a very disappointed Kelly Brown, who has qualified for something like 19 consecutive NHRA national events, a record for any top fuel driver, has failed to make the field here at the World Finals. Robbie Bruins, a little bit of tears in his eyes. The dream of every kid that ever went down a drag strip, to be the top fuel world champion. Robbie Bruins does it. Kelly Brown will be opening the gate fairly early. Kelly, and you know how he feels right now. You did the same thing last year.
Well, I have to know. You know, I just climbed out of the car. It's a very, very disappointing feeling, not only for myself, but for all our guys who worked so hard. But we did well. We tried as hard as we could, and it's a fantastic sport. And my thanks go out to everyone that helped us all year long. And
Robbie, how do you feel right now?
Well, I'm really elated. I wish Gaines was here because it's been a team effort all the way, and this is a dream come true, or another overnight success. We've only been doing it about 15, 20 years.
After a full season of racing and the World Championship Series, only 324 points separate Raymond Beadle from the defending world champ Don Prudhomme. Earlier today, Steve talked to both racers.
Don Prudhomme, you've owned that #1 on the side of your car for 4 consecutive years. What do you have to accomplish today to keep it?
Well, it's going to be a difficult chore. If I go to the last round with Raymond Beadle, along the way, I'd have to set both ends of the national record. In track conditions the way they are, that looks doubtful. Or Raymond Beadle has to go out first round or second round, and I need to win the race.
Of course, we need to stick within 1 round of Snake, but primarily we're concentrating on winning the race, because we win the race, we'll definitely have the championship.
Now, do you feel you have an advantage? You're qualified quicker? Maybe you've got a handle on it?
We do have a little advantage there. We qualified in the top half of the field. Snake qualified in the bottom half, which gives us lane choice, and I think that's going to be very decisive.
Well, that's one down. That must relieve a little of the tension, the pressure.
Well, that's a little bit. This one here is the one that's going to decide, though, Steve.
On the starting line right now.
McEwen said, don't worry.
Is that what he said?
Well, he told me, so we'll see what him and Billy Bones come up with.
Dave, the Blue Max crew walking out to the edge of the racetrack, all but praying for Tom the Mongoose McEwen. McEwen assured him, I'll get him for you guys. We'll see. How do you feel right now?
Well, we're glad we won, but like I told Snake, I'm sorry we just had to end it up with a track like this where we both didn't really get to run for it. But we've always wanted this, and it's something we dreamed about. But
it's everybody's dream.
Yeah. So
good for business, too.
Yeah, it won't hurt it at all. Thank you a lot.
#1, Raymond Beadle in the Blue Max. Is the track getting any better, Dwight, or is it deteriorating?
We didn't change it any, and it smoked the tires that time, so my guess it's going away. We might have to back her down a little bit.
Okay, Dwight Salisbury says it's not getting any better out there, Dave. Shirley, he's living up to that World Championship title, isn't he?
Oh, he sure is. He'll make a great world champion.
And you had it a few years ago. Make a nice couple. Good for drag racing, both of you.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm following in some excellent footsteps. There's been great champions ahead of me. It's an honor, really an honor.
He's good for drag racing, isn't he, Steve?
Oh, you both are. Shirley Muldowney and Rob Bruins, class drag racers. John Force, that's one you might have thought you lost had you not stuck with it.
Steve, I made one of those all-time screw-ups. I left the starting line in high gear. I can't believe I did it. My car was weird acting. I went out there and just did everything wrong. Pedal it, hit it, but I seen he was in trouble. I recovered it, reached down and shifted it in high gear, and I was in high gear. I got to apologize to my guys because they've worked hard, and I screwed it up, and the Lord just let us pull that one right out of the bag.
You've got a reprieve as you go into the semifinals. You'll never do that again, probably.
Oh, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes before this thing's over, but that's a killer to be that dumb. It's dumb. It's the pressure. When I got in the glue box, the car was sideways coming out, and I had to pedal it, so I thought, well, I'll leave it in high gear and try to do another drive with it to save from wearing the clutch. And when I backed up, my whole program changed, and I never thought to put it back in low, and it was just one of those dumb...
Seems to me it takes a heck of a guy to admit it.
I'm a heck of a guy.
Okay, John Force goes into the semifinals with the Wendy's car. Well, the little guy is walking tall here today at the World Finals. I think this is your first ever final round appearance, and it's a big race.
It is. It's the first time I've ever been in an NHRA final. Wow. I'm awed.
Now, you won't have lane choice, but it's beginning to look like it's evening out.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not really sure what to do, but it's been so much luck all day, you know. I figure we can just, at least as long as we're in the final, it helps out my crew and helps out everybody, you know. It's been a long weekend.
Pumps everybody up for the season to come.
Yeah, we had such a bad season anyway, and then to finish...
You had a lot of fires, a lot of burned up bodies. And...
Yes, our second car and my third fire suit.
Trip Shoemaker, it hasn't been a good year, but things are looking up here in the final race of the season. Wife Susie in here, John Loper, who owns the car. Dave Bob Glidden trying to shed himself of all of the safety equipment. You can see the sturdy roll cage built in this car that houses a man who has broken yet another record, drag racing's first ever 5-time world champion. Congratulations.
Thank you, Steve.
We had to race for this one.
Oh, those guys are terrible on me. I tell you, Iaconio was really tough on me.
They're really the only guys that have beaten you with any consistency at all.
Well, they've got their car, their performance is really good, and Iaconio is quite a driver.
Well, congratulations to you, Etta, the boys. It's great. 5 times world champ, Bob Glidden.
Thank you.
You bet. The jack-in-the-box comes, Dave McClellan, as he has won the Winston World Finals, Super Nationals, and Funny Car Eliminator. The World Championship may be going to Raymond Beadle, but you're the only guy all year in Funny Car that won 3 national events. Congrats.
Thanks, Steve. What a battle.
You're bushed, huh?
I'm mentally exhausted. I mean, to figure this track out, Jerry and I have been put in 100 hours this weekend.
Were you a little worried when you saw him maybe get out first that he would hook up in that line?
No, his car always moves real hard in the start line. We got this thing choked up so bad that it's like at Indy. The thing leaves real bad, but...
Choked up, you mean what?
Tight clutch.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you and the Pacemaker team, and the U.S. green again goes back to Canada.
We love it. Thank you very much.
Gordy Bonnet. Big Daddy, a happy Big Daddy. Bails out of his race car, but still opens the water petcock. Force of habit, I guess. Big's going to check the motor over. Even though he has already won the top fuel title here at this Winston World Finals. He's going to get his helmet off here, and we're going to try to talk to him. I know he's smiling. I can't even see him yet. Oh, boy. You did it. The right lane, just like you said you would.
Well, I smoked the tires, and he had me. And I'll be darned if he didn't go out of control and nearly cross the center line, and that's all I needed, and it just gathered him right up.
You know, going into this event, I've never seen so many of the supposed experts pick one guy. Everybody says they're not going to beat Big Daddy on this racetrack. He's just too crafty.
It was a racetrack that needed a lot of experience, no question about it. And I got one thing to say about it. There's a lot of people complaining about the track wasn't prepared properly, but no clutches were thrown out at this race. And if this is what it takes to have us have a safe race, I'm all for it.
Here's Rob Bruins. Robbie?
Congratulations, Rob, again for winning the world champion. You know, you had me, and the thing got out of shape. Yeah. And you lifted. You got it. It almost crossed the center. I know. I had to. And that's just all the little break I need.
They've been calling this a driver's race, and the guy that's been driving these things forever
we got the world champion here, and I'm proud of him.
He's a worthy one, isn't he?
He's a nice young man, and we're going to love to have him as our champion this year.
Thanks very
much. Representative of the sport.
Dave, what can I say? A great conclusion to a fantastic event. Thank you.